Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, right on. And it definitely was not prepared for black people people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You have to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to bits! You can't make me do anything like this!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate. You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought
was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. Said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to Chicago. And I had way beneath my salary booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.
Welcome to the It's Always Been About Race. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds. No one would have thought that I would be coming on there this time during the day. But guess what, y'all? I'm here and foremost for this show to get to another part of the audience, because again, this show is the most hated in the black corner of the internet. It's the most hated show out here. Why is that? I guess you would have to stick around to kind of figure out, right? But before I get it going, you know what I must do for those who are. And first and foremost, I want to say to those who may be here live catching this show at this particular time, what's good, subscribers? What's good, fam? Passerbyers, hey, this is a grand opening. Why don't you go down the aisles, shop around, see if you like something. Hit that like button, dislike, hit that comment button, say, well, that nigga ain't shit. It's up to you. That's on you. Agents, I seen you already tweaking, already getting it in. You trying to say, what the hell is doing this time of the day? Can't be having that. Well, it's here anyway, but you're welcome as well. Now, again, I got to get my spiel out. Hello and welcome to the Black Minds News. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind, and this channel is to report, transmit, communicate, articulate, reiterate, decode, unveil, spread the news, whether it be by news, video, website, quotes from publications. As I, your Whiteologist, articulate these informations, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, mind, soul, and spirit. As a descendant of the slaves that we call the DOS of this nation, who created the greatest nation in the world that they call the United States, on this channel over here, we give honor. You know what my motto is, y'all? First, before I even say what my motto is, you know why I can say that? Because the truth don't need no partner. And you know what my motto is? I ain't gonna tell you what I heard. I'm gonna tell you what I know. Well, you know how it goes, y'all. And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on. You know what that means? Every day. Look at that, boy. Look at that, huh? You want to see that. I gave you a little shot. You see what it is. So, you know, every day something is always turning in this world. Always some news to be disseminated. Because again, as a nation, and it's trying to stay on its, you know, on its top of its game as an empire, right? That's the name of the game, is to stay on top, to make sure no one is trying to sneak up on you and try to steal your empire. So with that being said, everything must be in its places, right? Has to be cornered, has to be, you know, in place so that it can detect surveillance and everything else. Mr. Blowman, what are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about, see, again, as this being the most hated channel in the black corner of the internet, you would say, well, how can you say that when I look at your subscribership, you don't got a lot of people watching you. Your videos seem to get no more than about 100 and some pennies. I know at one time when I first subscribed to you, that video was about 250,000. Then you had about another 250,000. You had a couple 50,000 ones. But all of a sudden now, you, as a channel, can't seem to get 100, 200 videos. As again, this thing is on all the time. It's 365 days, right? Hail, sleet, snow, winter, hurricane, you name it, it's still on. Unless your shit get touched, right? When you don't have no damn internet. So, what's your gripe, Mr. Brother? Well, something fell out in the last day or so. And I want to bring this because, again, not just for myself, but other people who are out here who might be kind of questioning. And then you have to really ask yourself, when you see this that I'm about to relate to you, now, if you are part of the creator, you know, are you part of YouTube and part of social media, and then you have your lane of things that you do, and then sometimes maybe you question why maybe you're not as popular as others. Maybe, you know, why is it that the trapper scene out there, like, they miss, like, man, everything you trying to do seems to be like no one won't even, you know, stop by, right? You ever just pass by something like, you know, seeing the window? You know how they do, they dress up windows, right? They put mannequins and stuff. You know, you walk in the mind of your business, you might be doing something that you just catch your eye, right? And kind of inquisitive, like, I wonder what that's about. Let me look at it. Maybe it will entice you to even go inside and look, right? But if you don't get no traffic, it's kind of like having a store on a dead end, right? Having your store on a dead end, right? With no traffic, no visual, nothing, right? Even if advertising and so forth, you don't get in. You play by the rules and still you can't get in. So maybe there's something to it. Mr. Brody, I've been blowing that horn for a little bit since my comeback. And I said, well, I seen this. And I said, well, maybe this got something to do with it. So you know what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to have to show you what I'm talking about, right? Let me give you these two visuals here right quick. And after it's over with, we will come back. So let me go ahead and play this for you right quick, and we should be right back. Check this out. I'll be right back.
Companies serving as instruments of freedom or instruments of control.
All eyes were on Google Tuesday as members of Congress hit the search button, hoping to find answers over the tech giant's political leanings and privacy concerns.
Google is able to collect an amount of information about its users that would even make the NSA blush.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai sat for several hours before the House Judiciary, hoping to calm their concerns.
We go to great lengths to protect their privacy, and we give them transparency, choice, and control.
And then there are the accusations of bias.
By ranking pages, Google search always favors one page over another. This process, however, turns much more sinister with allegations that Google manipulates its algorithm to favor the political party it likes.
California Democrat Zoe Lofgren asked Pichai to explain how Google search works.
If you Google the word idiot under images, a picture of Donald Trump comes up. I just did that. How would that happen?
We try to rank and find the best results for that query.
So it's not some little man sitting behind the curtain figuring out what we're going to show.
The concern is bipartisan. A study from Pew reveals 85% of Republicans and 62% of Democrats believe social media companies intentionally censor viewpoints they find objectionable.
This election was particularly hard.
A leaked video published by Breitbart shows some Google execs seemingly lamenting the 2016 election results. Pichai says Google doesn't approach their work with bias. Republicans weren't buying it.
We saw how upset the top people at Google were. And for you to come in here and say there is no political bias in Google tells us you either are being dishonest, I don't want to think that, or you don't have a clue how politically biased Google is.
Pichai also faced questions over whether the company was planning to build a search engine for China. Pichai stated they had no plans to do so. Amber Strong, CBN News, Washington.
50 Cent power shuts down after crew member is killed by a car at be there. You won't be talking about 50 Cent. So let me get the right article that goes with this particular here, because again I don't understand why that went out of pocket the way it did. So let me go back and get the right one. Let me see this right quick, and I apologize for that because that wasn't supposed to come up, but you know, it does what it do sometimes, because again, as that is talking about, and I won't get at you until you see this part here. Let me make sure I got the right thing going here. Okay, here you go. I got it now. I got it. And that's what I fight with. For those who are new to this channel or never seen this channel before, it's because again, just like this article here is talking about, right? What this article right here just talked about. And I will go into it after you see this, so I have to play this first. So just give me one quick second, and then let me set it up for you, and then let's do it now. All right, so let's check it out. Hold on one second. You know, the powers that be was not expecting me to be on at this time. So I'm gonna do what I do, and here it goes. Check it out. What Google's CEO told Congress about China and what he didn't. You know I'm going to say that again. What Google's CEO told Congress about China and what he didn't. This story was done in The Verge. Today's date, December the 12th, 2018. And this is how it reads. Google CEO Sundar Pichai testified in front of the House Judiciary Committee yesterday, and lawmakers peppered him with everything from allegations of bias against conservatives to questions about location data. It could hardly be said that the focus of the hearing was on Google's plan for China, but the subject did come up from a handful of lawmakers who expressed concern over reports that Google has been working on a search product that would comply with the Chinese government's stringent surveillance and censorship demands. The project, codenamed Dragonfly, has led to protests from both human rights activists and Google employees. Under questioning, Pichai seemed to hew closely talking points about the project, repeating company's previous statement that the project was only exploratory. He repeatedly said that there were no plans for the company to launch a search product in China. The statement, which Google has supplied similar versions of to journalists in response to questions about the project, appeared to thread a needle. Pichai said, right now, the company did not have plans, but he left the door open onto how close the project was to launch it in the past, and suggests that the company could still launch the product in the future. Right now, there are no plans for us to launch a search product in China, Pichai told Republican Tom Morano in response to questions about the company's plan. But The Intercept, which first broke the Dragonfly news, has reported that wasn't always the case. An article from the outlet published in October suggests that the company may have only been months away from a complete version of the product before public scrutiny derailed the plans. If the company moves ahead with launching a censor search program or project, Marino asked, what would that mean for information the company shares with the Chinese government? Peacock again framed the question as speculative. Anytime we look to operate in a country, we would look at what the conditions are to operate, he responded. There are times in the past we have debated the conditions to operate and we explore a wide range of possibilities. Currently, it is an effort only internally for us. We are not doing this in China. Peacock also made it clear that whether the company currently has plans to launch the product, Google certainly hasn't halted work completely. In fact, it has continued to devote substantial resources to the project. While saying the efforts were limited, Peacock at one point said Google has devoted about 100 people to it, although The Intercept has reported the number is closer to 300. I'm happy to, consult, be transparent as we take steps forward, launching a product in China, Peacock said, suggesting there are ongoing conversations about what the future may bring for China. Protesters who were just kicked out of the House Judiciary hearing for protesting Google's complicity with China government human rights practices. Hashtag Dragonfly. Hashtag Google hearing. Republican David Cicilline was notably critical of Google's China plan, saying they appear to violate the company's recently released AI principles. It's hard for me to imagine you could operate in the Chinese market under the current government framework and maintain a commitment to universal values such as freedom of expression and personal privacy, he said to Peacock. The point echoed concerns for human rights groups who sent an open letter to Peacock about Dragonfly yesterday. With that in mind, Cicilline asked, would Google explicitly rule out bringing a search product to China? Peacock wouldn't. We think it's our duty to explore possibilities to give users access to information, he said. I have that commitment, but as I said earlier, we will be very thoughtful and we will engage widely as we make progress. All right, so that's the article that is covering about the Google. Well, Mr. Blow Your Mind, what are you talking about China? What are you talking about? How does that relate to what you're talking about? Well, again, you got to look at the simple fact that, okay, they were talking about the political bias of it, right? They're talking about, the government's talking about how Google was politically biased towards, Republicans and so forth, or just in general those of, who set up that system. Is there, because it's man-made, can it have bias inside it? Because, again, some people would think that, it's a search engine, it's an algorithm, but then it also has to be programmed by those who program it, right? So here is China who wants you to come and implement, because, again, if you understand how, China is, and it has this stringent, right? It has this stringent surveillance and censorship, right, in China. Like, there's kind of more of a freedom here of some of the things that we do that they can't do in China. But they said that Google has a program that they would implement, right? So if they have one already that they're going to implement in China, then I have to question to say, is there one already established? Me, as being a content creator on YouTube, and I'm saying that YouTube is doing that shit to me. I can't get past 100 and something people on a 365, 24-hour day. No one stops by, and I got over 2,000, and you slowly take it. Every time somebody subscribes, you take one away. Huh? Every time somebody subscribes, you take one away. So I'm not talking about the political bias. I'm talking about being in the black corner of the internet and talking about things that other people want to censor you from what you're talking about. So is their program. So if Google got Dragonfly, then what is YouTube's? Then YouTube got something? Or is it just the agent sitting up in here and he does what he do, and then there's something in the background, right? That's what I'm talking about. So all create content. All you got to do is look at people's subscribership compared to the views that they get, right? You'll see some people, again, later on the show, I'm going to talk about a particular individual who's the supposedly #1 YouTuber out of everybody doing this, right? And if you look at the numbers that that individual got versus when you look at the videos, that viewership, no one never questioned the simple fact that maybe something you're being censored or you're not getting everything that you're supposed to, right? So the Congress is saying there's something politically biased in the system, in the way that the algorithms work. I've been on, coming back, getting in, going straight. 3 hours, 3.5 hours, day to day, right? And you gonna tell me that I ain't being censored? That's why I'm on now, because they were not figured I was gonna come on this early, right? Those of you who hear me right now. So I'm just saying, something is going to be implemented where it's censoring. Well, we know as black people, everything we talk about seems to be like, because we're talking about truths, no one wants to hear it. But yet you say you have the First Amendment of freedom of speech, right? Right? You have the right to say what if you disagree again, you could protest and all this stuff. But it seems like if we're saying some things you don't want us talking about, you have, and behind the scenes, you're doing everything to censor, to make sure your voice is being squashed and not being heard. But then you'll say, we're always calling the race card. We're always saying certain things, but you're never going to admit, but you know what? I got so much evidence to just prove, I'm just going to let you know. It's evident what you're doing. But I know, no one's racist. It's just the mantra on the theme that's on your screen. It's always been about race. No. That's just a figment of your imagination, right? All right. But I want to put that out there, let them know I read that kind of stuff. You understand? I know that that's not a figure of my imagination. I know what you do behind the scene. See, that's the whole thing. If you can't prove it to them, they say that it can't be real. No. There's always fingerprints, right? There's always fingerprints. So let's move on to the next part here. Let's see. Let me see. Well, let me go ahead, since I was already playing that. Might as well go ahead and get that out the way, because that was part of the news. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll play this, and then let's come back. Power shuts down after crew member is killed by a car at Brooklyn location. You know I'm gonna say that again. 50 Cent's power shuts down after crew member is killed by a car at Brooklyn location. This is in the United States Today, or USA Today. Story was done today, December 11, 2018, and this is how it reads. A 63-year-old production assistant for Power, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Star Series, was struck and killed by an SUV in Brooklyn early Monday, shutting down productions of the 6th season of the show. New York Police Detective Martin Brown Lee said Pedro Jimenez, a longtime employee of the series who lived in the Bronx, was placed in traffic cones in a parking lane for the production shortly after 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday, when he was struck by a 2006 Ford Explorer driven by another crew member on Douglas Street. Filming had not yet begun for the day. The 64-year-old driver of the SUV remained at the scene. Police said Jimenez was taken to Brooklyn Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. It is unknown why the vehicle moved and lost control, Brown Lee told USA Today in an email. No arrests at this time, but this incident is still under investigation by the New York Police Department's Highway Collision Investigation Squad. Jackson posted to Twitter after he heard the news. I just learned we lost Pedro Jimenez, a member of the Power production team, earlier this morning. My prayers and condolences are with the entire Jimenez family, he wrote. We are deeply saddened by the loss of one of the members of our Power family, Star said in a statement. Our thoughts are with Mr. Jimenez's family as we work to fully understand what has happened. Series stars took social media to grieve their colleague. Amari Hardwick, St. James Patrick, said he was rocked in an Instagram post. On this day, just another work day, we all were and are faced with the harshest of realities that a wife has lost her husband, children, their father, and friend, their beautiful, hardworking, gracious Pedro, he wrote. Naturi Naughton, who portrays Tasha St. Patrick, said she was truly shocked and saddened on Instagram. She added, tomorrow is not promised. Y'all live fully today. My thoughts and prayers are with the Jimenez family. Joseph Sikora, known to viewers as Tommy Egan, took to Instagram to thank Jimenez for always having a smile and bringing so much love with you to set. Jimenez has been with the series, which debuted in 2014, since its first day of production. Power, a crime drama about drug dealers, centers on James, who wants to get out of the dealing and focus more on his legitimate nightclub business. Meanwhile, he's trying to avoid the cops, his marriage is crumbling, and rival drug dealers such as Cannon Starks, 50 Cent, are hovering. The show, created by Courtney A. Kemp, is one of the network's most watched cable shows. Production of the show was shut down temporarily out of respect for the family and to allow the cast and crew time to process the tragedy. Deaths on the entertainment set and location are sadly not uncommon. Earlier this year, the film company involved with the AMC hit The Walking Dead was fined following a government investigation into a tragic on-set stunt. John Breckener, 33, died when he fell more than 20 feet filming a scene on the set outside Atlanta in July 2017. In October, a man working on the Mr. Rogers film starring Tom Hanks died after an on-set fall in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Southeast of Pittsburgh, police said James M. Weller, 61, a sound mixer, was on a break between scenes on October 11 when he went over a brick wall on the balcony of an apartment building and fell 2 stories. Elms Wellers, whose fall may have been triggered by a medical issue, was transported to the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, where he died about an hour after his fall. Okay, so that was a story that was done the other day. It was talking about those who watched the Power episode, right? It was a 63-year-old production assistant named, what was his name again? Sorry about that. No, it was Jimenez, right? It was Pedro Jimenez, right? Who had been a long-time employee for them, right? And what happened was, I guess they were getting set up for that day, and he went to go put out some cones, right? And it was about 4:30 a.m., and somebody who was driving a 2006 Ford Explorer who came down, they said, which was on Douglas Street, and I guess they struck him, right? And, you know, but the individual who hit him ended up staying on the scene, so it wasn't like somebody who did it and was trying to flee. He stayed, and then they ended up taking Mr. Jimenez to the Brooklyn Hospital where he was pronounced dead, right? And so you heard that some of the actors and people who were participants of that show gave their condolences and their heartfeltness to it. And as Mr. Blows Your Mind, what I do is when I see stories like that, I will, you know, give some light to it, because again, like I said, life is short. We're only here for a short spell. You never know how your number going to be. I mean, we deal with so much, and then how people constantly making you fight for just the simple fact of just trying to live. You put all these constraints and all these things that don't make sense, but we struggle. Like it says, 1,000 ways to die, but only one way to live, and that's each day of each moment of each second. Do you understand? And that's how it is. So take each day, tell your people you love them, you never know. Something like that. Think about that, going to work, and if come to find out you ain't gonna make it home, and you're not doing a job like, let's say, a police officer or a fireman or something that would be in extreme danger, but it was just something, again, as simple as putting a cone in. We know that the tragedies that happen a lot when those construction individuals who be on them highways that be putting them cones out there, but here it was just on a regular strip on a set, right? There was a lot of thought that day you got to drink your coffee and all that, kiss your wife and all that, kids and all that, that would be your last day. So on this show today, we're going to just give Mr. Jimenez, Pedro Jimenez, a quick moment of silence. Then we're going to move to the next story. Again, you know how it go, y'all. Always something going on, you know, and then the way those who know my show, you know, I set up the theme before I get you going. You know, I just set up a little bit there because, again, I had to make that announcement on that Google. I want them to know I ain't sleeping, I ain't snoozing like that, right? But this particular story here, well, I'm only because it doesn't hit the news, right? It doesn't hit the news, and so because it hit the news, I have to kind of address it. You know, I don't have no gripes with them or anything like that, but, you know, it's in the news, and so I just got to go ahead and do what I do. Now, there's going to be no visual to this. It's just only going to be the story in itself, and, you know, it'll be self-explanatory, but then I will actually elaborate after the story has been read to you. So let me go ahead and set it up, and then I'll come back and check it out. Inside the Nation of Islam's strange ties. Okay, hold on. To Scientology. Give me no picture, though. Where my picture at? Don't give me the words. Give me the picture. Give me the picture too. What's going on here? All right, let's get it. Inside the Nation of Islam's strange ties to Scientology. You know I'm going to say that again. Inside the Nation of Islam's strange ties to Scientology. This story was done December 12, 2018 from the Daily Beast. That's how it reads. You probably know about the Church of Scientology's courting of Hollywood celebrities. From Tom Cruise to John Travolta to the voice of Bart Simpson, and perhaps you've caught the wind of his cozy relationship with the Los Angeles Police Department. But few are aware of their close partnership with the Nation of Islam, led by Minister Louis Farrakhan. The approximately 20,000 strong black political and religious movement was formed in 1930 to improve the lives of African Americans, but in recent years has come under fire for its anti-gay, anti-white, and anti-Semitic views. And Farrakhan, a vocal anti-Semite, found himself back in the news recently when he was cited as one of his reasons for implosion of the Women's March, with some leaders of the movement accused of supporting Farrakhan and parroting his anti-Semitic talking points. The alliance between the Nation of Islam, a black organization, and Scientology, an almost entirely white one, was hatched in the mid-aughts when the late Isaac Hayes, one of the only famous black Scientologists, approached Scientology leader David Miscavige and asked why the religion wasn't doing more to court African Americans. So Miscavige reached out to the Nation of Islam, and by 2010, they began promoting the so-called benefits of Dianetics, the core set of ideals preached by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. During a sermon in Chicago on July 1st, 2012, Farrakhan proclaimed to his acolytes, "I found a tool that I know can help us, and I thank God for Mr. L. Ron Hubbard, and I thank God for his research and teaching." The latest episode of an A&E's Emmy-winning doc series, Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath, examines the ties between the Church of Scientology and the Nation of Islam. And who better to guide us through it than Remini, who was tasked with strengthening the partnership. I was approached by Scientology to bridge the gap between Scientology and the black community, and I wanted to do that. I had no idea what the Islam or Nation of Islam was. Remini says I was a Scientologist and I wasn't questioning what my church was asking me to do. The church, for its part, sent a letter less than 24 hours prior to airing, claiming that it support religious freedom and comparing Remni's show to Nazism. The first guest joining Remni and her co-host, Mike Render, a former Scientology executive, was Ishmael Bey, a decade-long member of the Nation of Islam who quit over its relationship with Scientology. Indeed, a curious one, given that L. Ron Hubbard has said there was no Christ and did not believe in the existence of Allah. We started to see that buildings were being made, that the Nation of Islam were having secret meetings with Scientology that the public had no idea about. It started going in a different direction than the core tenets of what Islam actually represented, says Bey. According to Bey, the Nation of Islam began administering self-improvement courses, or the introductory courses that people take to enter into Scientology that are disguised as innocuous self-help courses. The breaking point for me was when it started going in that direction with the self-improvement study guides. It started feeling very cult-like to me, Bey claims. They now call him the Honorable LRH. They now meet in the Scientology buildings. They now are being bestowed with the Scientology awards, and within the Nation of Islam, it's now a celebrated thing that the first female went clear recently. And in 2015, the first male went clear, Bey added, referring to one of the most advanced statuses, or states of mind as they put it, in Scientology. Scientology has a policy that any of its members who recruit someone into the religion gets to receive 10% of whatever their recruit pays into it, which can equal tens of thousands of dollars over a period of time. And there have been whispers and reports over the years that Farrakhan has received similar kickbacks from Scientology for spreading their gospel. But that's not all. Remni contends that they were coming to people like me and they were saying, hey, we want you guys to sponsor the Nation of Islam members to come in and do these Scientology seminars. She claims that one of the Nation of Islam members whose Scientology courses she sponsored was Tony Muhammad, the West Coast regional minister of the Nation of Islam, who was likewise fingered by Bey as introducing many Nation of Islamers to Scientology. Muhammad is even plastered all over the Scientology website, and he was recently bestowed with the IAS Freedom Medal, Scientology's biggest award. I had become a better Muslim as a result of my relationship to the Church of Scientology. Muhammad says in the Scientology promotional video, the world should be grateful that in our lifetime along comes a being known as Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. We say that when a man comes along like that, his name should be monitored or mentioned right along with the names of the saint. The next guest onto the program was Hector Falou Muhammad, a 26-year member of the Nation of Islam who worked closely with its senior officials. Falou Muhammad alleges that after he expressed his dissent against Dianetics to officials, he found himself singled out and was subsequently accused by fellow Nation of Islam members of everything from stealing to committing indecent sex acts on his wife. This policy of attacking critics or enemies, Remni and Brenda note, is straight out of the Scientology handbook. And Falou Muhammad claims that it was instituted after the two movements became bedfellows. There's been a command that came from a member of the Minister Farrakhan's personal staff. He said, if anyone is critical of Minister Farrakhan, to attack him like a hornet's nest, Falou Muhammad says, you're told, hey, you better stop talking about Scientology. You're going to get put out of the mosque. It's almost like Dianetics is the law now of the Nation of Islam. At Bey. The one thing that infuriates me the most is you find pictures of children in the nation holding Dianetic books. Falou Muhammad offers, we have children that are in the nation. I don't want my children studying Dianetics or studying Scientology. the Nation of Islam did not respond to requests for comments. In addition to its courtship of the Nation of Islam and some local black churches, the Church of Scientology has recently erected giant centers in Atlanta, Harlem, Inglewood, and other predominantly black communities. Although, as Tiponi Gray, who worked in the Inglewood organization of Scientology, says she only witnessed at most 10 people inside the building on a given day. And Farrakhan addressed Remy and her Scientology whistleblowing in a recent speech to his congregants. I know this is the time that they're making an all-out move to destroy Scientology, Farrakhan said. But what I asked Miss Remy, or whatever her name is, she's going in hard. She's hurt by something. I know a lot of Muslims that's hurt because they came in looking for something, but didn't necessarily find what they were looking for and walked away. And when you walked away, where did you go? What did you do? How did you do again? What did you lose? Somebody trying to take Scientology down for reasons that are unwarranted, fired back Remy. And once you've been Scientology for a good 35 to 45 years, maybe then ask these kinds of questions. And you should ask these types of questions to the families who have been destroyed. All right, so that was the article talking about how inside the Nation of Islam strange ties to Scientology. Now again, I have no bone to pick, but again, the article was out there, and as a individual who does news as a journalist, so that once you preach or talks about, it was incumbent on me to bring this forth. Now, again, in the article, it talks about that the Nation of Islam is only 20,000. I thought that was kind of funny, right? That the Nation of Islam only had 20,000 Muslims. And again, so you're trying to downplay the, capacity, right, of the Nation of Islam. So it says that how Dianetics, or this whole Scientology, was introduced to the Nation of Islam had to do something with the fact that it was Isaac Hayes, who, again, was one of the highest ever to attain in Scientology as a black individual, that it was him who suggested to this Miskevich, I think his name is, right? And it was through that encounter that that individual sought after or out to the Nation of Islam, right? So I said around 2010, this was promoted to the Nation of Islam with this Dianetics of Ron L. Hubbard. Now, I remember, for those who've been around a little bit, and matter of fact, just being on this internet, especially in the black corner, remember there was a big uproar about that. You remember around that time, you've been on here for some years now, you remember in the black corner, they were talking about that. There was a lot of disputes about back and forth, and then I guess after a while they kind of came to a meeting of our minds, because again, even the minister, Louis Farrakhan, came out and he talked about it. Now again, I bring certain information. It's for you to go back and do more in-depth research. I give you enough to let you know that it's out here. Again, most of the information that I bring here is primarily, you always see, is fresh. You'll get most of the freshest news right here. I'm not talking about anybody else, but over here you will see it's always within a day, 2, 3 days, no more. Sometimes I get a week, depending on how I probably took a couple of days off, but that's what it is. So anyway, with that being said, that it also said in the article that Ron R. Hubbard said there was no Christ and he didn't believe in Allah. So I think that's where a lot of people had problems with that. Now again, you have to ask yourself this question. Can somebody have something that is of value to you, even though you may be in disagreement to maybe their organization, their ideology, right? Can you, they say, glean, associate, ally with? I think that's how countries do things, right? They allies even though they may have differences, right? But what happens when your alliance starts to affect the direction that your organization was going or had been, and that people felt like it had a problem with it, right? Or people had a problem with it, right? So what ended up happening is it caused a rift in your organization. And so that which leads that you follow, maybe they have vision that you don't see, right? And they see something and they try to introduce. And those who lack the information and knowledge don't understand. But then again, if you're rooted in something and based on the ideology that's been taught to you, there should be nothing outside of it. Get what I'm saying? So you can understand how the rift came in the nation about this, even though somebody may say that there was some good, but other people say, hey, why are you implementing this? Why are now we're giving him the title of honorable, right? Right? And so it's also talked about an individual in there, I think the name was Ishmael Bey, who actually quit. And I know that name Bey, I got a Yahuda Kabir Bey that comes over here, brother I like, that comes over to the show. And I know what that Bey is. I know that's from the Moorish Science Temple. This individual, again, Nation of Islam, because I think historically there's going to be some ties there, right? That he decided that he opted out because, again, he felt like, again, as I was saying, the direction had changed. There was a lot of individuals, again, if you was in this black corner, you knew that there was some people who were very vocal and saying some things that maybe, again, I'm pretty sure behind closed doors, they worked that all out because that kind of died down and it kind of seemed like it could have got real serious because, again, you can't be talking crazy like that about the Nation of Islam like that, right? If again, right? So they said that kind of stuff had took place. And so what ended up happening, said that, the highest achievement of status in Scientology is to be cleared. So they had one individual from the Nation of Islam and then a female in 2015. But it also talked about there's some kickbacks, right? With some kickbacks, right? And I think maybe some people, again, they got the old saying, trace the money, you'll find out where, say trace the money. So again, I'm just as some person who's just observing as a news source, as a person of journalist, or a person of history. I myself know nothing about the internalness that goes on. But for those who do, you can comment and put whatever you want like out here. I just brought and presented the story. Again, this woman who, I think her name was Lemmy, right? She the one who's done this they call it doc series that she put out about the relationship with Scientology, right? So I guess if those who it might be on Netflix or something like that, go check that out and see, and then you come to your own conclusion, right? So let me move to my next story, right? Matter of fact, before I go on, let me see who all out in the house that might be here. Oh, I got a couple people in the house, right? Got a couple in the house. Somebody just left. I didn't want to hear that. Okay. Oh, Kabir Bey is up in here. What's good, fam? Leonard Thomas. What's good? Yeah, y'all see how early I'm on, right? I told you I'm working on that, y'all. Chapa Chata. What's good? Who else is up in here? What else I got up in here? Alfreda Israel, what's good? Mr. Spencer 0620, what's good? And somebody else redacted, must have some craziness and broke out. Huh? Okay, I wasn't looking. Now you can talk if you want to. Now I'm looking. So all right, let me get back to the show here. Again, I want to thank everybody who out here right now for the support. Now, again, let's see what I got here. Well, let's put it this way. Again, let's say that as black people, right, and all people, right, there's nothing with self-pride, race pride. There's nothing wrong with that when you, for your people, and, again, that you take pride in who, you came out as a being, this is the team you own. Now, it doesn't make you racist because you advocate for that. And some people make that, you're a racist because, no. Racist has nothing to do with that, right? That's just pride, right? But again, there's a such thing as false pride. And there's a such thing as a false pride with a false reality. Or we're going to skip aspects of it. And it seems like a particular pride of people are being afflicted due to, if they put their history on the scale, right? If you know how justice and the woman has a scale and there's a balance, that if you put their history on the balance of the scale, their achievements cannot lift the atrocities of their history. I'm going to say that again. When they put history and try to put the accolades of the stuff that would be considered that you are proud of as a nation of people, it can't lift higher because what you have on the other side of your history outweighs it too much. So no matter how much you try to profess how great, but that other part of your history taints it. So it feels like that every time when you try to profess your greatness, that it's always going to be tainted with your history. And some people are coming very, very angry about that because they believe that they are losing their position, their stature, as how everybody looks at them. And it becomes a guilt, as we heard in the intro what Malcolm talked about, that white people have this guilt conscience. And not because, per se, for those who today, they just the descendants of what have already transpired, right? And so when they get into this fervency and then they feel like, well, everybody's shitting on us, I want to put my fist up. Well, you can do that. It just depends on who you do it to. And so check this out and we'll come back.
White people are the best thing that ever happened to the world.
In a racially charged rant, a Columbia University sophomore harasses and shouts white supremacist ideologies at a group of primarily minority students.
We built the modern world. Europeans built the modern world.
The incident happened early Sunday morning outside of Butler Library on the Morningside Heights campus. The students involved say the sophomore had targeted them, having followed them from a campus eatery to outside the library.
We invented science and industry, and you want to tell us to stop because, oh my God, we're so bad.
Video of the rant has now gone viral and is raising a lot of questions.
I knew there were racists on campus. I just didn't expect to meet one personally.
Students Qualain Felix and Blossom Maruafakwa were among those harassed by the young man who was identified by the university's campus newspaper as Julian Vanabelle. While they did acknowledge a number of driving factors, both students feel his behavior is a byproduct of a curriculum at the university that tends to lean toward a Western European superiority.
What are they doing on, once again, institutional level to assure that there's narrative outside of Western European knowledge-based knowledge spreading, assuring that their students, the students of color can actually see themselves inside the curriculums.
In a statement posted on their Twitter page, Columbia denounced the incident, assuring students and faculty that it's under investigation.
The white people are the best thing that ever happened to the world.
Vanabelle did not immediately respond to our request for comment. The now viral rant comes in wake of a number of other hate speech incidents that have occurred not only in New York, but across the country. Posters for a white supremacist group recently surfaced near the Columbia University campus, further escalating tensions. Now, in response to the incident, Columbia will be holding what they're calling an open reflection space Monday evening. It's where students could be in community with one another and also raise any concerns they may have. In Morningside Heights, I'm Andrew Ramos, Pix 11 News.
Judge order release of New York mom whose baby was ripped from arms by police. You know and I'm not sure why everything is out of whack. Giving you a prelude to where I'm going. It shouldn't have gave you that. But it's supposed to give you the story that's supposed to go with the story that I'm already talking about. So somehow that got mixed. So let me give you the real story to that, right? You already know where we're going after that, right? You know where I'm going after that. So before I get into the dissertation, but I have to give you the article of what that was talking about, right? Because otherwise, you know, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right, right? So nobody can say I'm making shit up. You know how I got to do it. So I got it right here. So let me go ahead and play it. And 3, 2, 1, let's get it. Kick it. Columbia student from viral video speaks. I am not racist. You know I'm going to say that again. Columbia student from viral video speaks. I'm not racist. This story was done in the Daily Beast, December 11, 2018, and this is how it reads. The white Columbia University student seen in a viral video this week shouted at fellow students about how white people are the best thing that ever happened to the world. Wants to set the record straight. Julian Von Abel, a sophomore studying physics, claimed in a statement provided to the Daily Beast that the stunning video does not show my true beliefs and that his rant was actually part of a broader debate and series of events that provided important context. I am not a white supremacist or racist, nor do I subscribe to any views that support that ideology. I unequivocally denounce all groups that support racism, he explained. My reaction that even grew out of my distaste for the overuse of the term white privilege and similar derisive rhetoric as a means of dismissing views of others. According to Von Abel, his videotape tirade was simply a plea for all races and cultures to openly appreciate their people's accomplishments. I believe that every single person should love themselves and love their culture, and we should all be allowed to be proud of our heritage, he said. As such, I would like to have my views be fairly considered in the public discourse and not dismissed solely due to my race and gender. In the video captured Sunday night, Von Abel is seen standing outside Butler Library around 4 a.m., wildly swinging his arms while screaming at other students, Europeans built the modern world. We invented science and industry, and you want to tell us to stop because, oh my God, we're so bad. Von Abel is seen shouting at a group of students. Columbia University released a statement on Sunday denouncing the racially charged incident and said they will investigate the incident. In his statement, Von Abel claimed that the heated exchange began when several students were accusing Trump supporters of encouraging sexual violence. According to the sophomore, I explained that I am a Trump supporter and I do not in any way encourage violence, sexual or otherwise. A large group of students gathered around me and told me that I had no right to share my views on women as I am a white male and white privilege. And so Von Abel added he became irate as he was offended for what he perceived as being held personally responsible for the historical actions of all white people. Furthermore, he said I was tired of the divisive rhetoric that blames all the ills of society on white men. In the video, Von Abel fellow students can be seen getting upset by his remarks, calling him a degenerate, and giving him the middle finger while simultaneously egging him on to say it one more time. We saved billions of people from starvation. We built modern civilization. White people are the best thing that ever happened to the world. Von Abel continued, his voice growing hoarse from all the shouting. We are so amazing. I love myself. I love white people. Fuck yeah. White people. Fuck yeah. White men. We're white men. We did everything, he added. Look, I don't hate other people. I just love white men. Ultimately, Von Abel admitted in his statement, "I regret that I subsequently engaged in an exchange that was admittedly overzealous and was not the right venue to discuss the value of identity politics." But the student does not repudiate anything he actually said. Instead, Von Abel mainly took issues with his view being represented by an out-of-context video. The rhetoric I used to prove a point sounded as if I feel that whites are better than the other races. Well, really, I was theatrically and sarcastically demonstrating that whites are not allowed to embrace their cultural achievements, he wrote. The out-of-context video widely circulated was not representative of my general argument that evening, which was not that white men were solely responsible for the scientific accomplishments of the world, but instead that the great things Western culture has accomplished throughout history should not be ignored to accommodate identity politics. Following the incidents, Quarlane Felix, a student witness, told the Daily Beast that Von Abel followed the group to the college dining hall where he allegedly began to hurl more insults and racist rhetoric. The public safety officer lingered, and when was asked for help, the officer just said he's just saying how he feels. Please recall, adding that a group of black students also said they were also been harassed earlier by Von Abel. On Tuesday, Von Abel defended his conduct as nonviolent. At no time did I shove, grab, or physically or verbally assault anyone, nor did I denigrate anyone's race, he added. Since this event, I have received credible threats to my safety, and I have been harassed, and my personal information has been released. He did, however, apologize at the very end of his statement. I apologize for going over the top, and I emphasize that my reaction was not one of hate. All right, so we got a story coming out, hit viral from the Columbia student, right? Oh, Von Brown there, right? And he expressed himself. You know, there's a spirit amongst certain, we're just gonna say white men. I don't think white women. I think white women, again, are fighting white men to try to get the keys, right? I think that's what that whole shit is about. White women is trying to get the keys because you're running the shit in the ground, and white men are having complex issues because of history, right? So here's a young sophomore in college, and he's feeling a little irie, right? He's feeling irie and he's feeling irate. Because again, you know, his issue is, again, as I said, there's nothing wrong with white pride, black pride, Indian pride, wherever pride is, there's nothing wrong with it. But again, historically, you must understand facts never change. Again, the truth don't need no partner. I'm going to say that again. The truth don't need no partner. And that's the problem. See, when those who did what they did historically never thought about the repercussions, because there was no repercussions. So guess what they did? They left the lingering of the, some people call it karmic, the karmic behind. Now again, you may not get no physical retribution, but what it does is kind of like something that's said in the scriptures I read once upon a time. It's like a burning reef on top of your head. So I think about put a reef and then somebody burn it, and you're trying to get that shit off because it's burning, getting your hair, your scalp, all that. See, it's burning, and you're running trying to get it off, and you say, it's not fair. Well, guess what? We didn't do it. So, here he was advocating for white pride and white pride accomplishments. Again, no one will take that as a people, a nation, right? You're entitled to talk about the greatness of yourself and those of likeness and so forth. But again, as I started off talking about this, the weight on the scale of history makes your accomplishments to be tainted. You know, it's kind of like what they did in the Olympics when they tried, those who know going back. Remember when Ben Johnson ran against, what was his name? I can't think of his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Damn, can't think of his name. It'll come to me. But anyway, it'll come to me. I can picture his damn face, just can't think of his name. But anyway, Ben Johnson ran so damn fast, blew him away to the fact that ain't no goddamn way that motherfucker outran me like that. He got to be cheating. Well, you know, at the time when it's happening, they can't test you, right? This is before the doping was tested. So he went up there, did I say Ben Johnson? I don't think it was Ben Johnson either that did that. Well, maybe it was Ben Johnson. Okay, so they go back later, you know, go through the whole procession. He gets to go, Carl Lewis, there you go. Carl Lewis get the silver and shit. Carl look at this shit, he still can't believe the shit, and the world was shocked because he broke a world record and everything. Right? At that moment of his glory, he got everything that came with it, right? But then when he got caught and found out that his ass had been cheating, he was like an ostrich. He wanted to put his head in the sand, right? And that's the shame that comes with it. So again, you have your glory, but then there's the shame part to it, right? So he says that, well, maybe, you know, you're trying to be about my race because I'm white, and the gender, I'm a man. So the hatred of this country is because I'm a white man. No. Well, that has something to do with it because you are the biggest proponent of that which colonization, imperialism. The woman, she birthed you. She's by your side, but again, she's fighting to get the keys, right? That's what the whole women liberation is about. And a lot of you black women who try to fall up under that, you're not understanding. The white woman wants the keys. Like you running this shit in the goddamn ground, right? So here's a young one. Again, you know, the brand new one. You still smell brand new. So you don't feel like, why am I getting all this? Where's this? I didn't do anything, right? I didn't do any damn thing. Why should I be held personally for what happened in history? Why should I be getting the ill gains of what white men? I didn't do it. Well, just call it insurance policy. You know, if you went and somebody put an insurance policy, there's got to be a beneficiary. Somebody got to be the beneficiary because guess what? As much as was me as a DOS of this land, as my ancestors, when you talk about you, the great white men, have built this nation, I beg your pardon. I'm going to say that again. I beg your pardon. You built what? What did you build? I think we built this. You might have gotten the financial gains, but you didn't build this. We built this. And everything you talk about, now if you're going to say, science, well, how far back are we going to go when we talk about science? Are we talking about the modern day science, the AMA science? Even if you say that, I'm going to say, well, where did you get your research material from? Who did you study? Who did you dissect? Where did you get it from? Again, see, that's dependent on who you're talking to, whether you can profess that without any kind of, let's say, debate, right? And you being in college, you're not messing with the average. You know, you got some other people who get to go to college and they're reading and they're learning. You know, they're a little astute. And so you can press and yell that as high as you want, but then they're going to wait till you come down and then they're going to hit you with that facts because the truth don't need no partner. Right? So he goes on and talking about, oh, well, we the white people, we saved millions. We fed starving people. There's a cause and effects to that, ain't it? If you really look up under there, go up under that cover, that sound great. But the truth of the matter is, it may not be as much as you say it is. Again, it's like saying, I can feed 1 million that's starving, and then there's 10 million of that I fucked up. So how does that outweigh the fact that the one good deed and there's 10 behind it that is worse? See, that's what I'm saying. The balance, the tightness. See, that's why it's hard, and you guys are getting the blunt of it, and you can't take it, and you think that you want to blame we. Again, like you say, you didn't do anything. We just didn't do nothing. We just inherited of the perpetuation of the same bullshit, and you know, again, things got to turn. You know, it can't always stay the same. You know, and that's the problem. You got to balance it out. It's called odds. Things got to, balance back up to make it. Otherwise, it's, if it's too acidic in the body, you get sick, right? You be sick and shit. So you got to alkaline it. You got to balance this shit out. Because when you go to the hospital, why do you think the first thing they do is they give you a goddamn IV? Why do you think they give you that IV? You say, hey, shit, but there's water. No. Their ass is giving you that shit to balance your ass out before if they had to do something serious with you. Because if your ass is fucked up, they can't go in and be... anyway. So again, you're seeing that it went viral. Yeah, I seen it. So, I had to touch it a little bit. You know how I do. So, let's continue on that theme. Right? Again, you have the right to say that. Now, if you was amongst other people like yourself and you said that loudly and proudly, hey, I'm white and I'm proud, then say it louder. I'm white and I'm proud. That'd be cool. But if you're around other people who are affected of what history has done, you got to mums that. You got to say that in a humble way. You can't be professing like that because, again, you're going to get the backlash of the facts and you're not going to be able to take it. Moving on. Now, gave you a little peek. I gave you a little peek. I shouldn't have gave you that peek. I don't know how that got like that in the damn first place. Anyway, right? So let me see. I don't know where's my stuff at, man. It's like stuff is hiding from me or something. I don't know where's that one at. Because I had the video for that, right? Let me see where that video is. Because again, you kind of already got a preview where I'm going. Because again, that story I did the other day. Let me see something. Where is it at? That's crazy. That's really crazy. Like it's hiding from me. All right, I know it's in here. Let me see. Before I go up a little bit. Can I go up here? Ain't nothing up there. It's not there. It's not there. Where is the video part to it, huh? All right, here we go. I got it. Let's get it. All right, so let me give you the visual, and then we'll come back, and then we'll talk about it, right? And check it out. Here we go.
Oh my God!
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.
Columbia student from viral video speaks, "I am not racist." order release of New York mom whose baby was ripped from arms by police. You know I'm going to say that again. Judge orders release of New York mom whose baby was ripped from arms by police. This was done in the Huffington Post. Today's date, December 11, 2018, and this is how it reads. The judge on Tuesday ordered the immediate release of Jasmine Headley, 23, whose one-year-old son was ripped from her arms by police while she was waited for a child care voucher at the Human Resource Administration office in Brooklyn. Judge Craig Walker of Brooklyn described Headley's arrest as horrific and ordered for her to be released without bail, according to the New York Times. Earlier Tuesday, Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez announced that Headley would not face charges related to her Friday arrest and called for her immediate release. At the time of Gonzalez's announcement, Headley was being held at Rikers Island on an unrelated warrant. In a statement, Gonzalez said he was horrified by the violence of Headley's arrest, which was captured in a video that went viral Monday. He immediately opened an investigation into the incident and concluded that the situation should have been handled differently. Yes, that's the New York Police Department trying to yank a baby from the arms of his mother. Follow Monet Sinclair's Facebook link to see the entire clip, including the part where a cop waves a taser at the bystanders who dare to suggest there was a better way to do this. As seen in the video captured by Naisha Ferguson, 3 New York City Police Department officers restrained Headley while ripping her crying one-year-old from her arms. Ferguson told CBS New York that the chaos erupted after a security guard told Headley, who was sitting on the floor of the crowded waiting room, to stand up. Office staff called police after Headley refused to stand. They're hurting my son, Headley is heard yelling to bystanders in the video. I'm begging you, please. New York Police Department officer arrested Headley and charged her with resisting arrest, acting in a manner injurious to a child, and criminal trespass. Her son is with a relative, the Times reported. I was just so disgusted, Ferguson told CBS New York. I couldn't believe they were doing that to that child. I just couldn't believe it. It was crazy. What happened to hashtag Jasmine Headley is unacceptable. In 2 minutes and 26 seconds, a video we saw how our system criminalizes poverty, disproportionately punishes petty behavior, and irresponsibly separates parents from children. New York Council Speaker Corey Johnson. Gonzalez blamed a Human Resource Administration officer for the incident. The HRA officer escalated the situation as Ms. Headley was about to leave the premises, creating an awful scenario of a baby being torn from his mother, the district attorney said. She and her baby had been traumatized. She was jailed on an unrelated warrant and may face additional collateral consequences, he continued. Statement from Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez regarding hashtag Jasmine Headley. Right. So again, you see I have some technical difficulties, seeing like some things are happening behind the scenes, but don't worry about your heads about it. But what I do want y'all to do, for those who just coming by, hit that like button, right? And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Again, I am the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. And you will know why. Because again, we do it in. We get it in and we do the truth over here and we bring that news to you. Now, you know, that story went viral, right? Where the sister, Miss Headley, had her one-year-old and was going to a place that was trying to get some kind of assistance, right? Again, I did this story the other day. I know y'all didn't know because normally I come on about 10:30 at night. And because I'm being blocked off, I got to come in where I know more y'all at. So we're going to see what happens now. Again, I did the original story. So anyway. So here it was. This woman is taking her child and again some assistance. So again, you go to places for assistance because you're in need of something. Now again, you know, in this day and age, economically, financially, people are strapped. Right? So anytime when there's certain events and things like that, you're going to probably get capacity. So there was no seats there. So she didn't come there for nothing. She said, I'm going to create a spot. So she got a 1-year-old. You know, she still got to hold him. So she said, well, I found a little area where I could just kind of sit. But some security guard there that got an issue with it decides that, you know, again, and I'm most likely he probably one of our people. Let's just keep it real. He's probably one of our people, right? Because normally they don't put white people in there when they places where a lot of black people got to come to get. They don't put us as security. They put us as security, right? So anyway, in there, and according to the story I read yesterday about that, they said that she was giving that truth to him, right? He put him in a conundrum where his ass was like, it was, you know you wrong, but again, what they say, give somebody a little bit of power, a security guard, right? It's like those who got force preserved, right? The force ranger cop. He ain't got no other power, no other jurisdiction. But if your ass is up in that goddamn force and that force preserved, he can arrest your ass. Any other place, you call him all kind of shit, spit him, and do all kind of shit, right? But you can't do nothing. But if you get in his jurisdiction, he got power. So the security guard decided, well, hey, we're gonna call the police because she's not, again, abiding by my authority, right? My authority here, my authority. Right? So what happened? They end up calling the police. And because of the police coming, it created a much, undue situation. Now, she's not trying to leave because she's trying to get something. Right? She's there because she's there for the assistant. Now, again, as I spoke about it the other day, I said, now, again, police job is really kind of the mediator. When it's not a life and death situation, their job is to come in there, say it's a domestic situation, and they come. Parent arguing with a child. It didn't get physical, but it's gotten loud, and they saying some things. People hot. You know how you do, get upset. You say a lot of shit that you don't mean. So what the police do is they'll sit there and they hear both sides of it, and they'll come up with a, let's figure out how we can make up you come back better, right? So, but now, they was like, we're going to arrest her, and we're going to take this child from her. Now, I did find in that story, it did say that she had a warrant, right? She had an old outstanding warrant about some stuff she had. Now, I don't know when they were there did that all come out. And even if that did come out that she had a warrant, there's a better way for them to have resolved that issue. And for those of us who are part of the DOS, the descendant of slaves, right? Black Americans. Again, I know they said African Americans as anybody who could be African, South American, anything black, that's African Americans. Me, when I say Black American, I mean you, us, we who are cut from the people who create the greatest country that they call the United States. When that white boy was talking about, we built. No, you ain't built shit, we built. Right? Let's get that shit straight. Now, when we see that, there's something that should have resonated in your damn spirit. Something should have reminded you of something that seems familiar. And that's why it was such atrocity. And that's why they coming back today talking about the judge ordered release of New York mom whose baby was ripped from the arm. Because again, that's some old slavery. Remember the old officer from overseer. Check the similarity, check the clarity. Oh, you remember when I heard that before? Right? So it was an overseer scene. The paddy roll came in, caught the slave, want to snatch the child, take it off, sell it, That's what that looked like. She yelling, they trying to, And there was a bunch of women. I don't know if it was any men there. And, in the situation, it's kind of, men want to do, because the scene that I showed the other day was Kunta Kinte, when they were taking his woman, put him on the auction block, and the dude that was the brother was up there pulling her arm and making her, you got to go see that other video, right? If you know what I'm talking about. So, the scenario or the situation didn't look good. And it resonated, it should have resonated with a lot of you, again, you're so far removed, and it's not your fault. Because the curriculum is not told. And you don't have people like myself who ain't got no problem with telling you it. So, they decided to say, even though she got that warrant, we're going to drop all this shit. They're going to have to. Because it didn't look good. Now, I don't know if there could be any money to be garnered through the situations of the false arrestment or anything. It just made a black eye on the whole situation. And I think to try to met it out is to do this, right? Because, again, the relationship between the communities of black communities and police are at an all-time low. You know what I'm saying? As much as they want, you know, let's say a situation like Chicago and the community and talking about, you know, snitches get stitches. Well, that's because even if you snitch, the shit police fucking around tell you that you told, right? That kind of shit. So the relationship ain't good because they'll sell your ass out too. So they had to come with this, and I think it was a good move. But I think there's some other stuff to be done because again, we need to know who was these people, and we need to find out. Not so much as it being the other people, because we expect that from them. But when our people are in these positions, why can't you be in the position to be like, let me deal with this? Because see, they anxious to put a stripe on their badge. You should have a better understanding because again, you cut, your blood flows through. You are a kid, maybe not from the same mama, but you are an affinity of, again, as the white boy talk about proud of nation. What's wrong with you being proud of your people? But you wear the badge as if like you don't have no affiliation. So a lot of you got out there. We seen that video. There was a lot of them out there that look like some of us. And they going to be the first ones they throw into that damn bus. Remember I told you first. Now, moving on. Oh, matter of fact, let me look back out. Let me see who all out here. I got 10 in the house. Okay. Chopper Chuttas there, okay, LaFord, Peace Fam, okay, I got no more comments, no, okay, that's good. Natural Nature in the house, what's good, sir? What's good? So, let me go get moving on, because I'm going to try to get another show on tonight for those who know what time I normally come on. I'm trying to do that second show. All right, so, what else I got for you? Well, this one here, I got to do this one here because, again, I kind of mentioned him earlier in the beginning. Right, I mentioned him because, you know, again, the last time when they dealt with this individual here, everybody that does YouTube, that's why you don't do YouTube now, right? You don't do YouTube is because this would happen to this individual, right? This one here. And let me make sure I got it right. Okay, make sure I got it right. Because, you know, it's been acting a little funny, and they normally do that. But again, like I said, for those in the house, you at least, let me hold something. Let me hold a like. Give me a dislike. Shit, put in a comment, I ain't shit. That don't make no difference. Do what you got to do. Give me something. Let me hold something, right? All right, so let me go ahead and give you this, and then I'll be back. Let me see. Hold on. Maybe it's not. No, it's ready to do it. Okay, hold on. There we go. Because, see, you know, I got forces behind that don't want this, but it is what it is. Your contribution helps every little bit. So here we go. Check it out, and here we go.
They want someone else on top. Someone really extremely cancerous. Like Lily Sinks. I'm white. Can I make that comment? But I do think that's a problem.
PewDiePie, the world's biggest YouTuber, announces he'll delete his channel after claiming YouTube is racist against white people. And he managed to attack our favorite superwoman in the process. On Friday, PewDiePie, aka Felix Kjelberg, posted a video called "Deleting My Channel at 50 Million." He shocked his 49 million subscribers, announcing he will delete his channel when he hits 50 million.
I know you're gonna think I'm joking right now, but I'm gonna delete my channel. I swear to you, at 50 million subs, when we hit 50 million.
Okay, so PewDiePie starts the video by bashing YouTube's recent changes to the platform that include unsubscribing people without their knowledge. It also includes rewarding clickbait videos, promoting unrelated recommended videos, and hiding subscription feeds. The gamer explains that he noticed that this year his daily vlogs weren't really getting as many views as they normally did. He asked YouTube what was happening, and they claimed they didn't have any idea. PewDiePie pleads that he just wants his subscribers to see his videos and not have to double subscribe by turning on notifications and just being annoyed by him. In the middle of slamming YouTube, he managed to call out some of your favorite YouTubers as well. Take a look.
Sorry, Zoella, but I don't care what's in your bag, okay? Your subscribers do, I am sure, but keep that shit away from me. They want someone else on top. Someone really extremely cancerous. Like Lily Sinks. I'm white. Can I make that comment? But I do think that's a problem.
So PewDiePie believes YouTube is conspiring against his channel because it is not family friendly or diverse. So in an effort to not let them win, Felix will delete his channel and start over with something fresh. His video slamming YouTube currently has 14 million views and counting. And finally, PewDiePie just dropped a video today titled "I'm Racist," and in it he's calling out many of the articles that were written about him recently. He stated it's frustrating he can't make jokes on his channel without people taking it out of context.
It's extremely annoying how I can't make jokes on my channel without anyone quoting it as actual facts, like something I actually said. Do they know have they seen any videos coming out of my channel?
Now it's your turn to jump in on the discussion. Do you think PewDiePie has a reason to call out these clickbaity articles, or is he using clickbait titles for his own videos? Also, what do you think of YouTube's landmark channel being deleted because of conspiracy? Tell us below, and then check out our worst gift guide for the holidays on Beauty Break. I'm your host, Tom Plumley. You guys can find me on the socials. Thanks for hanging out with me.
PewDiePie's excuse for promoting racist YouTube content includes more racist content. You know I'm going to say that again. PewDiePie's excuse for promoting racist YouTube content includes more racist content. It's done in the HuffPost. Today's date of December 11, 2018. And this is how the story reads. PewDiePie, the world's most popular YouTuber, says he made an oopsie when he promoted a white supremacist YouTube page over the weekend. He only liked the guy's movie reviews, he said in a video published Tuesday. As it turns out, the guy's movie reviews are as racist as they come. On December 9th, Felix Kilchberg, aka PewDiePie, published a video for his 76 million subscribers that include a section of shoutouts to other YouTube personalities. One of the shoutouts, as Right Ring Watch Jared Holt points out, was to user ER, whose posts exclusively racist, anti-Semitic, and white nationalist content. The news media noted the promotion and backlash giving Kilchberg online reach, which includes the attentions of millions of young people. Any promotion, no matter how small, can mean big numbers for the person on the receiving end. ER, for instance, received tens of thousands of new subscribers in the days after the shout-out of ER celebrated by thanking Kilchberg for red-pilling his fans. On Tuesday, Kilchberg released a new video arguing that he can't be expected to review every video by every content creator he gives a shout out to. All I said was I like this guy's and his views. He said he apparently likes to have hidden and not so hidden Nazi reference in his videos, and obviously if I noticed that I wouldn't have referenced him in the shout outs. But the MD video that Kilchberg promoted a review of the movie Death Note that PewDiePie really enjoyed. Contains extremely racist content as well as a vile joke about the death of Heather Heyer, the activist killed by neo-Nazi James Alex Field Jr. in Charlottesville last year. Field was sentenced to life in prison Tuesday. Even the description of the video is racist. The truth about why this took so long is because I thought it was so funny to call Black L Niglet throughout all my recordings, ER wrote. I eventually got it through my thick fucking skull that YouTube's looking for any reason, so I redid all the audios to erase my speech crime, but then I got bored and put the project on pause. There apparently is no video on ER's page that would absolve PewDiePie of not knowing about his extremely transparent white supremacist learning, and one he thanked his white supremacist followers for giving him 100,000 subscribers. Another, he showed a picture of dead Jews during the Holocaust and makes a homophobic slur in the video first 10 seconds, and the list goes on. The Kelsberg, however, ER's ideology wasn't apparent, but it's not the first time Kelsberg has caught flack for anti-Semitic content. Last year, he lost a partnership with Disney after he live streamed a video in which he convinced 2 Indian men to hold up a sign reading, "Death to all Jews." Prior to that, his video contained joking reference to Adolf Hitler and swastikas that drew praise from the likes of the Daily Stormer. He noted in his non-apology video Tuesday that he swore off Nazi jokes. I said publicly a year and a half ago that I was going to distance myself from Nazi jokes and that kind of stuff, he said. All right, so you have the #1 YouTuber, PewDiePie, right? Is being called out as a racist. Again, I'm not one that watches what his content is. I kind of gleaned a little bit. You know, again, like I said, you know, people are going to have comments about certain things. And as big as he is at 76 million subscribers, they said 50 there, but that was an old video. He's at 76 million right now. So which means he has a lot of power. Matter of fact, he is a major influencer in the game. And again, as I talked earlier, those who had been here earlier when I started off talking about Google and its projects about how surveillance and actually, you know, really segging people off, and that's Google. So again, I said, what about YouTube? So again, I said, if you look at a lot of people that a lot of you guys watch, subscribe to, and you see their subscribership, somehow the videos don't never kind of match the subscribership. Now, I know some people buy views, they buy subscribership, and on this channel here, we'll never do that. I'm organic, right? I'm organic. You take it, leave it alone. If so, how you like it, you don't like it, it's up to you. Now, with that being said, a lot of people numbers just don't match. Now, again, is that, again, the hidden hand? Is that the Wizard behind the Oz or the curtain? The Wizard of Oz behind the curtain? You know what I'm saying? Pulling levers to make certain people to be more popular and other people, based on what you're talking about, not to be found or to be, again, on the dead end, like myself. I'm in the dead end, right? So here it is, this individual. Again, with 76 million people subscribing to you, there's no way you can sift through 76 million people to find out what person in there is and what kind of channel they got. And again, yes, he did go and he advocated on somebody's channel who is directly what it is. That doesn't mean he doesn't, you know, like some of the content. That just don't mean that has to be your ideology. Again, I'm not taking up on, but I'm talking for myself. See, I understand what he's talking about. Because again, let's go back for those of you who used to be YouTubers that, again, your money got hurt. Didn't it begin with him? Didn't it begin with him when they attacked him about some shit before, and then that shit trickled all the way down, and that's why you don't see as many channels as you used to, because the money got cut. Because why? It was the content and the way, the certain way the scrutiny and the policy became, right? So if they're about to hit his ass again, you know what's coming. You heard it here. You know what's coming, right? See, you can get too big. It's unhealthy to get too big. Getting too big, where you have the control and influence of so many people that, again, I don't even think you even getting paid, even though he talked about, said, again, 76 million, what kind of check would he fucking get? Think about that shit. What kind of check does a motherfucker that got 76 million subscribers get doing YouTube? Right? So, of course, they're going to dwarf that. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much is YouTube. Right? So they got to cut the money. You're too big. So, I myself as a little scraggly ass, mom and pop, down on the dead end corner. Got a couple people in here who willing to come listen to me because they ain't going to let me get out because they ain't know what's going to happen. So I just wanted to bring attention. I'm looking too, but I'm way down at the bottom of the mountain yelling up to the top. Hey, Billy Pie, I know what they on, bruh. Anyway, teach his own. Again, you think some people going to take what some of the stuff I said, say is racist? They can say the same thing. I'm not saying whether the dude is racist or not, because again, I don't watch his content. But again, as the article talked about, I can relate to that. So moving on. All right, so let's get in. We're getting almost down to the crux of the shits. So check this out. Again, as I said, I was talking about, again, the individual that was at Columbia. Matter of fact, I didn't even say this about Columbia. Think about that Columbia University. Why are they saying Columbia anyway? Columbia, just like Columbus. Why ain't that Columbus, huh? Even the university you was in was by a motherfucker who they falsifying history and talking about he discovered some shit. Well, he ain't discovered no shit. Right? So again, will we be able to take that from you? You would be able to take that from you. So again, fragility of mind. So, based on, again, the climate, for those who are really paying attention, right? You paying attention out here, what's going on in the, again, as I say, Columbia, I'm talking about District of Columbia. See how that breathed that right quick? District of Columbia. That is where the government operates at, right? And we see that there's something that's shifting, that's happening, that now people are in position. You're hearing stuff about people getting evidence and they're getting people to testify and they're getting up and up and up and up to the ladder to the one who they after. And they've really much got the scope on them. But is it healthy for the country is another thing. Well, look at this as I came across, and then I'll show you, and then we come back.
A bipartisan group of nearly 4 dozen former senators warned current and future members of the Senate on Monday that the United States was entering a dangerous period, and urged them to defend America's democracy by serving national interests rather than political ideologies. We are on the eve of the conclusion of Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III's investigation and the House's commencement of investigations of the President and his administration, the 44 ex-lawmakers wrote in an op-ed published by The Washington Post. The likely convergence of these two events will occur at a time when simmering regional conflicts and global power confrontations continue to threaten our security, economy and geopolitical stability. The senators continued, it's a time, like other critical junctures in our history, when our nation must engage at every level with strategic precision in the hand of both the President and the Senate. We are at an inflection point in which the foundational principles of our democracy and our national security interests are at stake, and the rule of law and the ability of our institutions to function freely and independently must be upheld. The senators, 32 Democrats, 10 Republicans and 2 independents, also stressed the importance of casting aside party differences in confronting impending challenges, noting that during their time in Congress, we were allies and at other times opponents, but never enemies. At other critical moments in our history, when constitutional crises have threatened our foundations, it has been the Senate that has stood in defense of our democracy, the senators wrote. Today is once again such a time. Though the op-ed did not refer to President Donald Trump by name, its ominous tone and solemn appeals were reminiscent of another opinion piece that recently riled up Washington. The anonymous letter published by the New York Times in September alleging that a quiet resistance within Trump's executive branch had banned
44 ex-senators warned United States is entering a dangerous period. You know I'm going to say that again. 44 ex-senators warned United States is entering a dangerous period. This is in the Politico, done yesterday, December 10th, 2018. And from the Politico, this is how it reads. A bipartisan group of nearly 40 former senators warned current and future members of the Senate on Monday that the United States is entering a dangerous period and urged them to defend America's democracy by serving national interests rather than political ideologies. We are on the eve of the conclusion of a special counsel Robert S. Mueller III's investigation and the House commencement of investigations of the President and his administration. The 44X lawmakers wrote in an op-ed published by the Washington Post, the likely convergence of these two events will occur at a time when simmering regional conflicts and global power confrontations continue to threaten our security, economy, and geopolitical stability. The senator continued, it is a time like other critical junctures in our history when our nation must engage at every level with strategic precision in the hand of both the President and the Senate. We are at an inflection point in which the foundational principles of our democracy and our national security interests are at stake, and the rule of law and the ability of our institution to function freely and independently must be upheld. The senators, 32 Democrats, 10 Republicans, and 2 independents, also stressed the importance of casting aside party differences and confronting impending challenges, noting that during their time in Congress, we were all allies and at other times opponents, but never enemies. At all the critical moments in our history, when constitutional cries have threatened our foundation, it has been the Senate that has stood in defense of our democracy. The senator wrote, today is once again such a time. Though the op-ed did not refer to President Donald Trump by name, its ominous tone and solemn appeal were reminiscent of another opinion place that recently ruffled or riled up Washington. The anonymous letter published by the New York Times in September alleging that a quiet resistance within Trump's executive branch had banded together to frustrate parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations. All right. So I said, well, Mr. Bloodman, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, I'm just saying like this. Again, as I gave you a little bit as before I started, it was like, okay, you know that there's things going on politically. Again, you have this element that is actually going after to set up where they're trying to impeach, right? You know, all this setting up about the whole build-up with the Robert Mueller, right? And so now that they've actually got the crosshairs pointing directly at who they want. But the question becomes, is that what they want? Now, again, there's a lot of people who are going to have their feel about what they feel about the president. And there's two sides to that, right? And some people say, you know, get rid of. And again, if we're going to go by the letter of the law, that would be right. But you got to remember that constituent, that following, that follows. And all the stuff that we've been seeing as into, you remember we just seen about in Colombia, about being a white man and not having my say and everything we do, and we're feeling guilty. And we finally get somebody who seems to appear to represent us. And then if you come and you do this, is this a chess move by somebody who's playing the long game? Could that stir up something if you went and you did and go for it? Again, I'm not neither yay nor I won't say nay or yay, right? Because I don't think no matter who the fuck you put in there is gonna have an effect for us. But as to what then took place in the conjuring up of a certain spirit, there's an element that is pro for Trump. And it seems to have been according to the way that this election took place. But again, for me, I know when I was in school and going to, you know, taking the Constitution test, and I remember reading that the president and the vice president could not be elected by the people. But for some odd reason, the people think they're the one that elected. But again, I know electoral college, right? So anyway, so the masses of the people, supposedly according to the election, is supporting the individual who is now in the House, and you even have people of color who are advocating as well, right? Now that other aspect of it is, if you was to do that, that's like kicking a hornet nest. Would there be long implications if they pull it? And that's why they think there's some senators saying, you better be careful what you do to them, because they might turn around on you. Huh? They might, huh? So, I'm just saying, that is in the equation regards to what everything being said. That has to be in the equation. So if you pull the plug, who benefits and who will be the other end of that? Because again, we're seeing stories that are coming out where, again, there was a thing in Washington, D.C. where 9 nationalists jumped his brother and, beat him up pretty good. But I didn't do the story. Maybe I'll do it tonight. But again, right? So again, just like the white cat in Colombia and all these other stories and stuff that we're seeing and talking about, and some of the stuff, a couple more things I got left to play. You understand? So I actually heard Robert Mueller say 2020, say that mama better get out here and vote. That would be the best thing to do, right? Because if you do it with the way these other ones who went in there, who just, again, they were salty because their candidate didn't win and so forth and all that. And again, there is a climate that did come due to the individual that is in there. We get all that. But if you rip it out of there, it can cause something. It can be a cause and effect. And I think that's what they're alluding to. So, didn't say you didn't hear it from here. Right? Now, keep it moving. Now, since I'm talking about that particular element, right? Well, check this out. You got to ask yourself, oh, no. What are you doing? Now, you know how it goes, y'all. I'll be having a story from earlier today, and then they change the time. Look at that. I mean, it's doing what it want to do. Do what I'm asking you to do. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a lot of elements behind me doing all kinds of craziness. So let's see. Hold on.
And those costumes now, criticism and Valley parents outraged all over us.
Look at that. Man, that is crazy. Huh? This ain't no 1950 stuff. This is technology, supposedly. Still doing what it want to do, right? All right, so play this and be right back after this, y'all. Here you go. Being real slow, huh? Why being so slow?
And those costumes now, criticism and Valley parents outraged all over a school play.
ABC 15's Zach Crenshaw live at ASU Prep in downtown Phoenix tonight. And Zach, parents feel they weren't prepped for what was going to happen.
No one was really, Steve, not the parents or the students. They showed up to assembly on Friday and they knew they were going to see a play by the drama class. What they didn't expect is to see their classmates walk in full Ku Klux Klan robes and hoods. The Foreigner, December 7th. That's the play every ASU Prep high school student saw Friday afternoon.
She was in an assembly. 3 students dressed as the KKK walked down the middle of the assembly as part of a play.
This picture captured the scene on stage.
Disgusted. It's wrong in any way, shape, or form. There's no justification for it.
This ASU Prep parent said his daughter asked him to remain anonymous, but he's upset that students and parents weren't alerted ahead of time.
At least inform the parents, give us the ability to make that decision. And the KKK walked into my kid's school on Friday, and I didn't get to stop it.
The popular play is actually a comedy, and The Foreigner, no stranger to controversy at high schools. A Minnesota school canceled the production last year after their costumes went viral. A spokesperson for ASU told ABC 15 in part, "We apologize if anyone was caught by surprise with the appearance of these characters. We're confident that a fair reading of the text of the play and a fair interpretation of the intentions of the students who performed it reveals no endorsement of bigotry." One parent, though, still believes it should have never happened in the first place.
We can talk about racial prejudice. We can talk about the insensitivity, but to have our children put on the robes and assume the characters, it's wrong.
Now, I talked to one parent out here today who actually told me he didn't think it was that big of a deal. And he said it was because his son was Hispanic, and he said the majority of this school is actually Hispanic. I checked online, 75% of the student body is Hispanic, 11% white, 9% African American. Now, for ASU Prep's full statement, you can head to our website and check it out, abc15.com. Live downtown, Zach Crenshaw, ABC 15, Arizona.
Now you know how it goes, y'all. I'll be having a story from earlier today, and then they changed the title. So what you see on your screen, it says KKK costumes in Arizona school play outrage parents. There's no justification. But they end up changing the story to saying the KKK costumes in Arizona school play shocks parents. So I'm going to say that again. KKK costumes in Arizona school play shocks parents. This story was done today, December 11th. 2018 in Newsweek, and this is how it reads. An Arizona high school play in which students dressed up as members of the Ku Klux Klan extremist organization has sparked outrage among parents. ABC 15 Arizona reported Monday that an adaptation of The Foreigner on December 7th by the ASU Preparatory Academy Drama Department shocked some students and the crowd after 3 classmates walked through the middle of the assembly dressed in full hooded garb. The KKK walked into my kid's school on Friday, and I didn't get to stop it. One angry parent told the news outlet this week, "There's no justification for it," the disgusted parent said. He said, "We can talk about racial prejudice, we can talk about the insensitivity, but to have our children put on the robes and assume the character is wrong." The play contained one scene close to the end when the characters must defend themselves against a Klan mob. Authored by Larry Shue, it mixes comedy with serious overtone. Shue specifies that the villains not be portrayed as comedy villains. Production notes published by education website thoughtcompany.com reported. They are members of the Klan and must be truly cunning, obsessive, and dangerous. While it is true that the play is a comedy, Larry Shue is insistent that at first the artist must recoil before they can find the humor. A spokesperson for the ASU Preparatory Academy apologized in a statement to the ABC 15. It reads, "Last Friday, high school students in a drama class at the ASU Preparatory Academy in downtown Phoenix staged a production of noted American playwright Larry Shue's The Foreigner. The presentation of the play was done during the capstone period of the school day. Students in class read several plays earlier in the fall and chose to perform The Foreigner. The school statement continued. The play portrays an image of members of the Klansmen in a brief scene towards the end in which they are made fun of and driven away. We apologize if anyone caught by surprise with the appearance of these characters. We are confident that a fair reading of the text of the play and a fair interpretation of the intentions of students who performed it reveal no endorsement of bigotry." Earlier this month, Dover High School in New Hampshire was criticized after 2 students were recorded singing a song with racist lyrics to the tune of Christmas songs Jingle Bells. They had been asked to create a jingle about the Reconstruction period of history in America. Their version shocked viewers by including the lyrics, "KKK, KKK, let's kill all the blacks." District administration later said officials were deeply concerned that an event such as this could occur. KKK, let's kill all the blacks. That's a school play? That's a school play, right? Well, we ain't supposed to be having nobody on the watchtower who's supposed to be looking at this. You know, some people, always about race. Hey, you know what time it is? Do you know what climate we in? That school plays are having this in there. Now, again, it was a predominantly, you see, they're trying to offset the whole scenario, the story, by saying, well, you know, the school is predominantly Hispanic or Mexicans. Last time I looked on the the 2010 census, I think they are classified as white as well, and so a lot of them are believing that. Not all, but most of them are believing that they're white. So putting on a Klan suit would not be out of the realm of that's who the origin of who they claiming they a part of, right? So what part of the curriculum is that? Again, for plays, and I understand that, you know, people are talking about killing a mockingbird and all that other stuff, right? You know, I can't do it, nigger Jim, and you can't do all that no more, right? So you have to ask yourself, there's something, you know, subliminal or connotative that people are doing, and they're trying to go innocently, and when you catch them, oh, no, that's not, we were doing this, that. No, it's two sides to that. So if you get caught, you got a backside to it, right? So it's not one way where you can be, aha, you can't do it. They got a back door and shit. Oh, no, it was just regular play. It was a comedy. It's comedy. What's comedic about that? What's comedic? Oh, Reconstruction. Oh, when that whole history of those who would read. And eventually, I will get to my history, y'all. Matter of fact, I will actually be selling history for those who be wanting some history. I'll be where you want, I got it. And I'll do the narration. You know how I do it, y'all. So anyway, I'll be looking forward for some of that to come out. But, so, again, there's a theme. There's this theme. As we talk about with the senators, right? We talk about with the Pootie Pie, right? You know, theme and people and officers is yanking babies and all this stuff, has a theme down the middle that a lot of people just not looking at. So again, it could be innocent, but again, who's accountable for even suggesting this to be in the climate you're in? Or what subliminal message are you infusing in those as you are the influencer because you are a teacher? Well, I know, man. You know. So we're going to move on. We don't give you too much time on that. It is what it is. Well, let's see here. Let's see what I got else in here for you. I think I got something else in here for you. All right. Again, influencers, teachers, right? Sometimes you have mamas supposed to be the first teacher of the child. Who would be the second teacher of the child? Because about, you know, the way they got it these days, your mama get about 1, 2, 3. And if she got a job, she ain't even getting those whole 3 years because she got to, you know, kind of give you to somebody else, and then they influencing you, right? They get you 1, 2, 3 years, then you start throwing them into the institutions of education, right? So what happens when these type of things are happening? I'm going to play this and I'll be back, y'all.
Nobody uses that word.
Yes, they do.
Nobody says nigger. The word nigger is an old...
That's racist as shit. How you so little minded you can't understand that nigga is racist for a white man to say to a black man? It's fucking racist.
You know what a commoditized word means?
Explain it to me.
That's a word that's used so many times that it doesn't mean its original.
It's used by black people.
It's used by everyone.
No, you use it. Don't say everyone.
The word has become commoditized so that anyone can use it, and it's not a negative connotation.
It's a negative ass connotation.
Okay, you hear it in a bunch of songs. Are those people being negative when they use it?
By black men. By
just
black men. By black men. Yes, they do.
Nobody says nigger.
You just said it!
You acting like we're having a conversation. You can say the word, but I can't.
You can't say nigger or fucking nigger.
If we're in a class and I'm teaching you, hey, the word nigger is an old. Dude, please, it's a word, bro. You cannot go through life and act like a word.
I'm fucking saying that shit.
Can affect you. If you say a word, it means friend, and if I say a word, that same word, it means something different.
Yes,
that's not true.
Just the fuck.
It's not. It's not true. It's not. It's not if you want the world to move on.
I can't say it. Wisconsin teacher repeatedly used nigger word in class because she had a black nanny. You know I'm going to say that again. I can't say it. Wisconsin teacher repeatedly used nigger word in class because she had a black nanny. This story was done today, December 11, 2018 in Newsweek. And this is how it reads. A teacher in Wisconsin has been placed on leave after a video of her appearing to repeatedly use a racial slur in class. The teacher, who has not been identified, was recorded by one of her students repeatedly using the nigger word while teaching a class at Bradford High School in Kenosha on November 29th. The Italian teacher then allegedly told the students that she was allowed to use the word because she had a black nanny. I can say it, the teacher said in the video obtained by CBS 58. She then proceeded to say the nigger several times in quick sessions. One of the students who was in the class at the time of the incident described her shock to the situation. That's not a word anyone should use in school, let alone a teacher, the student, who did not want to be identified, said. She added that some students just sat there during the outburst and couldn't believe what the teacher had said, whereas others just laughed it off. The teacher is alleged to have used a racial slur after one of the girls in the classroom said the word to a student. Parent Crystal Math, who has a son and a younger sister in the class, told CBS 58 that the teacher defended her use of the word to students. She brought up that when she was younger, she had a nanny who was of color, and that people often called her nanny that, so she became comfortable using that type of language. She needs to apologize to the class that she made uncomfortable, Math added. Her influence on them is going to make them think that this type of language is okay in the future, and that really bothers me. In a statement, the Kenosha Unified School you see, they're trying to knock me off, right? You see, they're trying to knock me off. That the teacher has been placed on paid leave while they investigate the incident. This this incident today and has launched an investigation. The employees have been placed on paid leave while the investigation is completed. However, no additional details can be shared due to personal privacy rights, the statement says. Another parent disputes the school district's claim that they have only just heard about the incident, claiming he went to speak to the principal the day it happened in late November. Was a motherfucker, ain't it? The truth hurts, don't it? The truth just hurts, don't it? Huh? You don't like seeing yourself for what it really truly is? That ain't my fault, man. See, we have to be the bearers of your bullshit, but then if we get to show it to you, you can't take it. See, people like to say, well, that was way back then. Why are you always talking about it? You know what happened? The creator of the universe put cameras in everybody's hand. So now what end up happening is everything gets recorded. Things get to be disseminated to people instantaneously. Sometimes they call it viral. And you do everything because you're not liking what I'm doing, which is public information. See? I'm just putting public information. Now, if you don't want to be put on that, excuse me there, y'all, then don't do the shit. Don't think that you can do the shit and we just supposed to sit there and be like everything is good. No, you don't like seeing yourself is because, again, you try to pretend to be one way, but in the truth of the matter, you are another way. And the minute that fang start coming out that lips, we start knowing we done seen that before. So you mad because why? It's not even really exposing it. It's just that people know what it is, but some people just not going to say it. I'm just going to bring the article and talk about it and give it my opinion to it. Now, what you need to do is you need to go to Wisconsin and tell this teacher, okay, again, the article didn't say, I can't say it. I said, you can't say it. It said, I can say it. No, I said, you can't say it. You can't say it. Just like in the video prior to or the discussion, really wasn't even no discussion, but a teacher and a student and the young brother that was there that was offended, and this teacher was saying, well, you know, in the songs, see, you use all this... You use all this nonsense, this bullshit to try to give support or validate when it's nothing to be validated, because anytime that it comes from you, it can never be in the light that even if, like the young brother say, and myself, I will say the word. I will say it. And when it says N-word, no, I'm going to say the nigger word. See? I can say the word. You just can't say the word. I know that's a problem for you. You don't feel like there's nothing, again, supremacist mentality and, all that shit. There's nothing you supposed to be, there's nothing off balance to you. Well, no, you can say it. You can say it, and you're going to see what comes with it. Because, again, it can never be taken in the light of wherever you're trying to say. You say, well, you guys are saying it in a rap song. You say it to each other. And the young brother say, but that's black people talking to black people. That's family talking with family, and the way that we're using it can never be in the same connotative way that it was used, done, and systematically continues to do, right? So here's a teacher here in Wisconsin. She says to the classroom, she talking, well, you little niggers. Huh? Niggers. Huh? She said it real quick. Huh? Nigger. You nigger. Right? She saying all that shit, right? And the students like, well, the ones that offended, because the probably was people that was cut from us. It was like, hey, what's that shit about, teacher? You ain't supposed to be saying no shit like that. I can say it. And the reason why? I'm Italian. You try to say that fucking nanny. Motherfucker, you Italian. What do you think of what the fuck makes an Italian? Huh? What comprised of what makes an Italian? There's some nigga in there. Hey, yeah, Kabir. What's the time frame? 7-11 to what? 14 what? There's some nigga in that shit. Huh? There's some nigga in you. It ain't got nothing to do about no goddamn nanny. You got nigga in you, but yet you still think that nigga ain't in you. See, that's the sickness that a lot of y'all got. This thing about this superior impurity. There's no purity. Now we're going to go back into either you come from the original man or you a byproduct of some shit that ain't part of that. Now, which one you want to have it? Now, if you want to be this pure thing that you're talking about, then you are not part of the human family. Do I need to say that again? If you're not going to attribute yourself to humanity, you got to be human, then you are outside of that. And so whatever you think you are, then you can have that. Even though it's false, it's not real. And your ass is Italian. And you talking about because you had a black nanny and you heard them calling the black nanny that. And that gives you the card carrying member to be able to say it. Ain't that something? Ain't that fucking something? That shit crazy as fuck, man. That shit is crazy. But no, don't you say nothing. Don't you say nothing. Just take it. All right. Moving on. Now this here, let me make sure this is right, because let me see what this is here before I do that, y'all. Because again, there's been some of the shit that you can see. You see how the video was playing, right? You seen all that. When you start seeing my video starting to skip and do all this crazy shit, that's outside sources, right? That's the outside sources calling themselves, well, we just don't like what this motherfucker's saying. Well, it's not about what I'm saying, it's what I'm showing. I mean, I ain't making shit up. Say I'm lying. You can't say I'm lying. So, okay then. Stop your bullshit. All right, so here's just to go on the theme. Oh, they got me red, boy. Y'all must be buffering like a mugger nigga. They got me on straight red. They is doing everything to try to cut me off, huh? Yes, y'all is, huh? Shameful. Shame, shame, shame. All right, so here you go. Check this out. Now, we're going on the theme again. See? You got to understand where they coming from. This right here may tell you a little bit. I got no visual for you, but it's just a story. Check it out and be right back. Universities launch drive to recruit more white males as low numbers give them minority group status. You know I'm going to say that again. Universities launch drive to recruit more white males as low numbers give them minority group status. This story was done December the 9th, 2018 in the Telegraph, and this is how it reads. Universities are setting targets to recruit more white male students after low numbers meant they are now classed a minority group. Essex and Aston University have become Britain's first non-elite institution to write the target into their official recruitment plans, putting white males on a par with black students and women engineers. White British students are in a minority at roughly 1 in 10 institutions, according to Higher Education Statistics Agency. Meanwhile, on certain courses, such as pharmacy, business, and some science degrees, more than 7 in 10 students is from an ethnic minority. In 2016 and 17, 27% of UK undergraduate intake were white males, down from 30% in 2007 and 8. Oxford University has previously announced a drive to attract more of the group. Nick Hillman, director of Higher Education Policy Institute, which has released a report on the plight of young men in education, told the Mail on Sunday, when putting together our report, we were shocked to find so few higher education institutions had these sorts of targets. The problem is so evident, and we're continuing to go backwards. Some people oppose this whole agenda. We were told we were wrong to look at gender and should care only about class. The Institute report calls for more foundation year courses, preparing students for studying the degree as a means of encouraging more young men to apply. Official figures also point to a growing gender gap in British universities, with 23 out of 149 higher education institutions having more females than male students. Previous research has indicated that university staff have a mixed reaction to schemes aimed specifically at white boys in case it leads to accusations of racism. A study led by King's College London said, we found that people were quite uncomfortable with the idea of running a target activity with this group in a way that we've not encountered. For example, targeting young black African men. We had quite a lot of people saying this isn't going to be a white-only event, is it? Essex National Initiatives follow a warning by the Office for Students, which regulates the universities. In September, that institution could be punished unless they give a higher proportion of top degrees to black students. The body plans to set a series of national targets to apply to all universities. Right? So you see that the universities are coming up with a plan that they say they got to do more recruiting because they don't have enough white males. So they're trying to now, due to the simple fact that the population of white males are declining, that they're trying to restructure it so that they can now be part of that demographic that would be getting like the affirmative action. Ain't that something? You're trying to eat on both ends, right? Think about that. The reason why all that was set up again for minorities and women, and again, you know, white women was part of that too, right? Now, because again, you shrinking, now you want to be the beneficiaries on the other side too? What a web you weaved, huh? What a web you weaved. See? What goes around comes around. But see, again, if you don't believe in that, you don't believe in that. And you just gonna figure out a way and do it anyway. Well, you're running it, you do it anyway. Okay, well, do it the way you want to do it. Instead of trying to make amends and trying to do what's right, you're still trying to cut it on both ends, right? So ain't that something? Isn't that in itself kind of a racist plan or racial plan? And we're going to target trying to get in more whites when you have African Americans who are still trying to garner because everybody else keeps undermining, coming in again when affirmative action was originally for, but somehow it ended up umbrellaing a lot of people who didn't put in that kind of work. And no offense to nobody who might be getting a new part of it. But again, I have to advocate for my own. So now that the paradigm shift is happening, the demographical shift is happening, now you want to cut back on the other end. I keep telling you, that's just the beneficiaries of that insurance policy. That's all it is. The only people you can blame that is those who were before you, and they could have made amends and cleared that shit up, and you wouldn't have to be going through what you're going through. And maybe that's what a lot of this opioid stuff has something to do with it, because again of the mindset and the outlook of future, right? So again, it is what it is. So let me get down to the nitty gritty, because you see they working hard to get my ass out of here. This story here I'm going to end out with, again, this is the culmination, right? This is the culmination of what ended up happening, right? With all this stuff that we're talking about right now, right? The little ones are affected. And when they're affected to this point, we have to take a retro look at ourselves and wonder that what more could have been done. But let me let you see it first and I'll come back.
Year-old Mackenzie Adams was a fourth grader with a bright future.
That was my angel. You know, she was a straight-A student, very smart.
But her mother says Mackenzie struggled because she was bullied. First at a school in Linden where they lived, then at the school she transferred to, U.S. Jones Elementary in Demopolis. Her mother says she rode to school with a family friend who was white, and that a group of her classmates taunted her with racist comments.
Things you wouldn't think a 9-year-old should know. And before my baby to tell me some of the things that they had, you know, said to her, I was just like, where are they learning this from?
Mackenzie's grandmother found her in their home last week. She had hanged herself.
Just seeing my baby laying there, not being able to say nothing to me.
The school district is investigating.
We have provided grief counselors, crisis counselors at the schools, ministers, youth ministers have been on campus.
The Linden Police Department says officers spoke to 9 administrators and teachers at the school, and all said they had no knowledge of Mackenzie being bullied. Mola Lengi, CBS News.
Alabama, a 9-year-old dies by suicide after racist taunts and bullying, her family says. You know I'm going to read that again. Alabama 9-year-old dies by suicide after racist taunts and bullying, her family says. This story was done today, December 12, 2018, from the NBC News, and this is how it reads. A fourth grader in Alabama died by suicide after being bullied with racist taunts, according to child's family. Mackenzie Nicole Adams, 9, a U.S. Jones Elementary School student who loved math and hoped to become a scientist, was found dead in her home on December 3rd by her grandmother, according to Tuscaloosa News. Edwina Harris, the girl's aunt, told Tuscaloosa News that the bullying her niece experienced stemmed from her friendship with a boy at her school. She was being bullied the entire school year with words such as "kill yourself," "you think you're white because you ride with that white boy," "you ugly black bitch, just die," Harris told the paper. Mackenzie had previously experienced bullying at another elementary school and was transferred to United States Jones Elementary School after her mother and grandmother brought it to the attention of the State Board of Education. On Facebook, Jasmine Adams, Mackenzie's mother, mourned the loss of her daughter, sharing pictures Monday night of the two together. "My world is gone. My love. Hashtag stop bullying. Hashtag anti-bullying," Adams wrote on Facebook. The Demopolis City School System said in a statement sent to NBC News by attorney Alex Braswell, who represents the district, that it is cooperating with the Demopolis and Linden Police Department in the joint investigation of the incident, and said it will continue to make the district a safe place for children. In response to the recent tragedy of the loss of a Demopolis City School System student, the Demopolis City School System does extend its heartfelt wishes and condolences to the family, friends, students, and teachers that have been affected by this tragedy, the statement reads. Harris was host a television show in Atlanta, says she now plans to use her platform to combat bullying. "God has blessed me to help others with my platform, and now it's time to help. There are so many voiceless kids," she said. "God is opening great doors for justice for my niece." All right, so there's the story of a little girl who in Alabama took her life due to the fact, I'm going to try to, fuck that, it wasn't bullying. It was just pure racist. Little ones. See, they want you to believe that the racists in this country are only the old white men. That somehow, that the old white man who you say it is, the grandpa that don't got a son, who don't got a grandson, and that's what you see in here. Those who keep perpetuating that hatred, that ill will. Here's a little sister that was smart, right? Had a future, maybe, because she was in the right role. She was looking at science. She drank all the Kool-Aid because she got A's, right? You know, you drink the Kool-Aid, you get A's, right? You drink that Kool-Aid. So the jealousy of that, seeing the aspirations and the intelligence of this individual, it's kind of like those who will come here and say, "God damn, that nigger can read. God damn, the nigger can read." Goddamn right can read. We created damn language. We created the damn alphabet. So why wouldn't I be there? You know what I'm saying? We show you that when we colonize, we can speak your language, right? Whatever language that's supposed to be, right? So, you know, inferiority complex, little girl thriving and can do, and was, you know, probably well liked. But had to transfer because it was happening in that school, we put in another school. And you know how some of our people is. We trying to think that sometimes safety is not around our own people. We try to go because the better schools. It's not that they better. They just got all the money allocated. The communities that, let's say the urban community that we be living in, that we don't be owning, that we be renting in, they owned by somebody, and they allocate those taxes to where that is, and they bring it over to where they is. So it's not better school, they just get more funding. But you take your ass up over there anyway. Right? And so you're not looking at the harm in harm's way. One, again, this is not to do this to belittle the fact of what happened to your little sister there or the family, but I'm just saying in general. See, when you don't inculcate the information as to our existence in this land and keep pretending like what happened then is not happening now, then they're not built for it. Then when they come and they talking crazy like that, it's so foreign to them, it berates them. It belittles them. It makes them doubt. It makes them go into a place because they hate come to you because you're not even talking about it. They don't even hear it in their own household because they done made you believe because you're talking about what other people doing that you're a racist. Fuck that shit. You ain't no goddamn racist. You're just telling it what a TI is all day, every day. Like I'll come on here and I'll show you the stories. I'm not like these other channels gonna give you one for a click. I'm gonna give you a whole show. That's the difference between me and them. You'll go to them to get one click to come back 2, 4, 5 hours later to get the other click because they in it for money. Ain't no money over here. This love. Do I need to say that again? This love here. Because there ain't nobody on the watchtower. Everybody trying to act as if what ain't, and they keep showing you. See? So somebody got to say it. So here's a little girl lose her life because she couldn't take, because again, the education is not being taught in the house anymore. Yes, you can have friends of other persuasions and all that other stuff, but that don't mean that the history, that don't mean that the education need not to be spoken. And that don't mean because if you address something that is being overseen and teaching them that it's not being racist, is informing and inculcating that information to them. They must know. When we leave and they don't know, what you think gonna happen? What you think gonna happen? Damn shame. Huh? Little queen. Had potential and snuffed out because the inferiority complex, what they call fragility of mind, even as little as that. As that story before talked about becoming into a minority status is frightening. When you become less. See, it's not in our heart to even want to be doing it. But in their mind, because of what you know you've done, you feel like somebody would take advantage and do something to you. No. We're not going to do nothing to you. The universal creator said, vengeance is his. So guess what? He gave us a spirit. To be docile. To turn on each other at times. But not to lash at your ass. You know, hey, somebody say, no. Let me take that ass. Let me get that ass. No, you ain't got to do that. I'll get that ass. So that's what they got to deal with. So I say the sister name, man. You know, that's just ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous that somebody of that age had to lose her life because of the, you say bullying. No, it was more than that. That's soft coating it. And when you don't do it, this is what the end results are. That's the end results. And when they still not killing themselves, they are internalizing that, and they try to become to be accepted. That is the other aspect to it. When they don't do what she did, They do the other thing. They do everything to be accepted, and they become these little whimpering and trying to do and walk on eggshells because somebody has keep telling them that being you is something wrong and ugly. And no, we the most beautiful. We the best that the world has ever produced. And don't you ever forget that. These other motherfuckers are nothing but the motherfucking pot liquor of this shit. Let's keep this shit real. So, close out the show for Mackenzie Nicole Adams. I recognize you, little girl. My little sister. These other ones, they'll catch on later. But I catch it when it happened. And so, I'll give you a moment of silence. Look out in the audience, see who there, and I'm up out of here. And again, hit them likes, dislike, comments, whatever it is. Subscribe. Do what you must do.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything. Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, and it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, good news, the chariot is coming. While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news for the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin.
They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You have to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before. There are only 2 possible explanations. 5 months before. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to You can't make me do anything like Chris! Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptist. We're not brutalized because we're Methodist. We're not brutalized because we're Muslim. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate you.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I called out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. So what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you did. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.